Hey Stampin' friends, welcome to the Joy of Stamping with Rachel. I'm Rachael Coon and it's our Wednesday's kit class. Go to a whole live flip and we'll get started. All right. Welcome. Glad you can join us. Whoever's here, feel free to chat in the comments throughout this class. I'd love to see what you have to say. Hey Phyllis, glad you're here. Let me go ahead and show you a little bit about our kit class and how it works. What I do is I prepare 4 different cards and send you all of the paper pieces that you need to finish them. And you get this for free from me when you order $35 worth between this Wednesday and this coming Friday, the 23rd. And I tell you some items that I suggest for you to finish it, but otherwise it would be totally up to you. You can use any stamp set that you may have. All right, you guys ready? So today I'm using the Flowering Cactus Product Medley. And if you've never seen it before, let me tell you a little bit about it. So it comes with a stamp set, has all these in it, and we're using a couple of these today. I'm always here for you, happy looks good on you, life can get kind of prickly, and hope your birthday is filled with beautiful things. And also this little smark right here is a shadow of our cactus. We'll be using that as well. So it comes with our stamp set, and it also comes with dies that will cut things out. So we have this fun die that I've used today. These ones are the larger ones that cut out the outlines of the stamps, and it also cuts out the DSP. Let me show you. So with this set comes 48 sheets of 6x6 DSP, and one of them looks like this. And it has it so you can die cut these images out, and they match the exact same shape as the stamp images, which is pretty cool. So for today's kit, I'm using a lot of the DSP. That way you guys can assemble these without having the stamp set as well. But if you didn't have the paper or you run out of paper, you could always replace everything I'm doing with one of these stamped images. So this is what it kind of looks like. I die cut every single piece out, including those flowers that are on here as well. Isn't that pretty awesome? Look at that. All right. It also comes with these felt embellishments that are great for embellishing and give lots of added texture. You kind of see how it's stitched on the back, and it has these fun marks on the front. See that? We'll be using the coral one for today. And it comes with 2 types of linen thread, the natural color and then this Calypso Coral color as well. It's a great product medley. It is in our mini catalog. So this product medley is available all the way through June and is $70. There's also a refill kit for this. So if you were to run out of all the paper supplies, you could always just get the refill instead of the whole medley again. All right, let me go ahead and show you each card. And we are going to start with our easiest one and work our way up. The easiest one today is this one right here. It's pretty simple, but I think that's the beauty behind it, that it uses the DSP from this product medley to really feature and make it look gorgeous, and does all the heavy lifting of it. Let me grab that out for us using the crumb cake card base. I will have all my measurements for these over on my blog after our live today. So if I don't say them, you can catch them on there. And if you're watching this on YouTube, that link from my blog will be in the comments or the description below. Okay, so the crumb cake card base, which crumb cake is one of my favorite colors. And then we have our DSP. And the way to work this is we're going to use a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 as our guide, because I have this measuring a little bit larger. So if I were to put this straight on here, you'd see that this will overlap. So I'm going to have it on here as a guide to show me where I need to add my adhesive. And I'm just going to add just a tiny, tiny bit of adhesive on this one. And this very end border right here. Just do a little line like that. And we're going to place that on top and keep it on our guide underneath it. To make sure we get our alignment just right. Because this is a 6 by 6 pieces of DSP, I wanted to measure this at the 3-inch. So that's 5 1/4 by 3, and this one was 1 1/2 by 5 1/4. Okay, so I'm going to remove that from this and just set it aside to let it dry for a minute. And we're going to go ahead and stamp our little image here. I'm going to grab, right here is my foam mat. So we'll have that underneath it. And let's grab our Mossy Meadow ink. And the saying I have for this one is really cute, and it fits perfectly in this little stitch circle. The stitch circles are actually retiring soon or no longer available currently. And so you could always use and replace one of this, just the layering circles or the 1-inch circle punch. Okay. Go ahead and stamp that one right in the middle. Perfect. And we'll close up that ink for now. Next, let's go ahead and grab our linen thread that came with the kit, and we're going to wrap it around twice this DSP that we've glued together. And you're going to have your bow, you can either have it close to your center or further on this end. So I'm going to start at my end over here, and I give myself about 4 to 5 inches extra, and then I'll start wrapping it. And we're going to do this one twice. Just about like that. Let me turn it so you can see better. And if you need to pull it and push it a little bit, just tug it or shimmy it down. So linen thread is one of my all-time favorite accessories, embellishments, what would you call it? Trim, because it matches with basically everything. And most of the time, it's fairly easy to tie a bow with. I love that this kit came with both the natural and the coral one. All right. So kind of like that. And then just play with your bow to make it the shape you want and where you want it. And trim off your ends when you're done. I'm trying to think if I want to move it or keep it right there. What do we think? Kind of fun right there, huh? Let's go ahead and add this to our card base. Isn't that pretty on the other side too? I'm telling you, this paper is so pretty. It uses a lot of some of my favorite colors. So we have like the Highland Heather in there, the Mint Macaroon, the Calypso Coral, and then that fun dark Mossy Meadow is also part of this one. All right, and you know what? I'm looking at this card right now, and you know what I totally did? Hopefully no one else will notice it. Maybe they will. My cactuses are upside down. Do you see that? That's too funny. That's all right. We'll send this one to a special friend, and maybe they'll notice it too. Go and use your bone folder to help you with the crease. There you go. And then we're just going to add our little circle here with dimensionals. I'm going to go ahead and grab them, and I'll just put 2, one on top, one on bottom. And let's figure out where we want to place it. So this one could be right here, and we can change the location. Or I can keep it over here and kind of have it further away from our bow. Let me go ahead and set it right about there, I think, so we have it by our bow. Just change it up just a little bit. And we'll put it right like that. Awesome. Okay, that's our first card. Pretty easy. We just use that fun trick to help us make it the size that we want by using that extra little piece of cardstock. Love it. Set those ones aside, and let's go to our next one. I'm going to try to go from hardest to easiest. Or sorry, other way around. Easiest to hardest. This card is so fun. It has some extra details on it. So I'm using the Stitch with Whimsy dies that creates this really awesome, kind of like a squiggly stitch look to it. In fact, let me show you all the extra things I'm using for today's kit. So I've already talked about our stitch shapes that I use for my circle. And now we're using that Stitch with Whimsy dies. Let me show you how those look. The this is kind of a hidden gem in the mini catalog, and it is carrying over. So if you haven't gotten it yet, you still will get a chance when that catalog ends. It'll be in the annual as well. But these are just super fun outlines, and they have a couple squares, rectangles, and then this fun longer rectangle as well. And it just outlines it. So it doesn't really cut out anything. So on my measurements, you will have a measurement to cut out this piece of white paper as well, instead of just having this cut it out. Because when you use the stitch rectangles, which is another part we use these also in today's kit, those will actually cut out the whole piece of paper. Okay, let me go ahead and show you how we're going to make this one now. I use that Highland Heather card base, and we have a Mossy Meadow mat for this one, and that piece of white paper that I had earlier. Let's see where I put it. That guide piece is what I would use to also put in the inside of our card base today. So don't worry, that won't be wasted. Okay, let's go ahead and stamp our sayings on this one. And I'm missing one piece. Let me see if I can find it. I had it here a second ago. Oh, I don't know. You might have to cut it out again. It might actually be in my bag. Let me check. Oh, I found it. It just fell out. Okay, so the one I use in this one uses the DSP. Let me see if you can see that and get it in focus. There we go. That's the DSP cutout. And this one was one that I stamped. You're probably wondering, how did I get that two-tone look? So let me go ahead and show you how I do this. So if you don't have the DSP, or if you ran out of the DSP, then you can make your own to look like that. Okay. So let me grab this piece of white paper that I have over here. And let's grab our foam mat again and get that on the screen. You can see where I've already cut it out earlier for that one there. And let's grab our giant, it looks like a heart cactus, right? It's really cool. And we're going to ink it up first in the mint macaroon. So open that up and get it all nice and inked up. Do a couple taps on your ink pad and flip it over, and I can see there's ink on there. Next, what we're going to grab is a sponge and our Highland Heather. So open that one up, and we're just going to take a little bit of the ink from this and use the sponge to get it to go. There's Lily. Someone's knocking at our door. Let's see if any of my kids will grab that. Lily. All right. So we have the grape on here. Sorry, the Highland Heather. And I'm just going to ink that up and then sponge it onto our stamp. And just kind of go around the ends a little bit. Just kind of wherever you want it. Like that. And we're going to go ahead and flip it over and place it on our paper. Ooh, I love that. See how cool that turned out? We have that awesome two-tone by stamping first and then sponging. Love it. So I've already die cut mine out, so it's ready to go. Let's go ahead and get our stamping done since we have some of it out, but we just need to switch our colors. I did use the Mossy Meadow for this one, and we're going to get our saying and our outline. And I have our Stitch Whimsy with Whimsy cut out right here. So I said I'm always here for you. It's the one that I used for this one. So go and grab that and ink it up. And put it right about there. Kind of bottom center. Give yourself a little bit of gap. And then we're going to go ahead and grab this weird piece here. Kind of looks like a little worm or line. This is the shadow of the cactus. We'll ink that up and place it just a little bit above our saying right there. Awesome. Next, let's go ahead and put our ink away so we don't make messes. And put dimensionals on the back of our cactus. I might need to get a sign for my door to let people know when I'm doing videos, right? Oh, Phyllis says she says she didn't know why I wasn't cutting, and then she realized the Stitch with Whimsy was for indenting and not actual cutting. So true. Okay, so we got our heart on there now, our cactus heart, and I went ahead and I stamped in the coral the little flowers, and this one was the dies, so the kit will come with dies, and I have the stamped version, so you see what that looks like too. You can either use glue dots or liquid glue for this part. I'm going to just add a little bit of glue to each of the spots that I want it to be, kind of making a triangle. And let's put a large one on the top here, and then we'll use two littles, one little there and one little here. The cool thing about this flower die is that it actually cuts out two at the same time. So you stamp two at the same time and cuts out two at the same time, which is pretty awesome. All right, let's carefully flip this over and add some glue. We probably should have done this part first, or matting. That's okay though. And then we'll flip it back over. And just line it up so you have borders on all ends, just like that. And then you can either use dimensionals at this part or keep on using your liquid glue. I'm going to use liquid glue for my inside real quick, and also for this part here. And get our card base back in here. It's such a pretty purple, and usually you don't see or think of cactus in purple, but this is one of the suggested colors, and I really liked it, just to change up some of our design here today. Okay, go ahead and put this on the front, giving us a little bit of border here on each side. Let's grab our bone folder to make this lay nicer. And I'm using the holiday rhinestones today. You could use any rhinestones that you have. I like this one because it has multiple colors. So I'm going to use just a couple of these lighter blue ones that I think match pretty nicely with the mint macaron here. Just kind of helps pick up that blue. And one right there. You want to make sure you use at least 3 when you're doing it. All right, so that's our second card of this kit. Super fun. I love those colors. Okay, let's go on to the next one. I'm going to save the very last, the hardest one, or the prettiest one, my favorite one for it, the end. This one is my second favorite, though. It has so much texture. Look at that. I do have to say, though, this die here, it's supposed to be a cactus, kind of looks like a pickle to me. So I'm still trying to figure out what kind of pickle card I can make using this one. Does not look like a pickle a little bit to you guys? So funny. But this one does have a lot of texture between the felt here, our nice little bow, the stitching here on bottom, and an embossed piece here. Great, great card. Let me grab all the pieces for it. And because it's part of a kit, I'm actually doing a lot of the work for you for this one. So it's pretty easy to assemble. Go ahead and let's grab our bone folder, get our card base ready to go. And my card bases today are all the exact same sizes. It's our traditional size of the 4, let's see, we have 5.5 by 8.5 scored at 4 1/4. But sometimes I have them going horizontal and sometimes I have them going vertically. This one is a horizontal one. And I've embossed it using a retired one from the mini holiday catalog, but you can use any embossing folder. And you want to go about less than half, but more than 1/4. So somewhere in between here, that's a little fine line that you want to have it when you die cut it. I used the one I did because I like the size of it. Let me show you. And we have a couple more, and I did suggest the other ones on my blog as well, if you don't have this one. So this is the size. It's smaller than our usual embossing folders. So I like that one because it helps me. It was easier to use to make it only half of a paper. Okay, let's go ahead and put that one on there. Let me grab my trusty block to help me that dry on there. Set it aside, and we'll get ready to stamp. So I'm using a 3 by 4 piece of basic white, and then that's 3 1/8 by 4 1/8 for our mat there today. And let's grab our foam mat back in and our Mossy Meadow. I love this color. This is actually a neutral color, or part of our neutral family, and I feel like that's the case. I could use it for almost every single card today, and it looks great. And I'm using the happy birthday saying for this one. It says, hope your birthday is filled with beautiful things. All right, let's ink that up and put that here in that right top corner. Press down. Awesome. And that's all of the stamping we need to do for this one. And next, let's go ahead and attach that to our mat. And because this part underneath it is that stitch look, that one came with the dies. You want to make sure you add some liquid glue there, or glue dots, because you don't want your tape runner to get ruined right there. Okay, that's looking pretty awesome. I'm going to go ahead and grab our cactuses. We're going to start with this guy in the back. This was a Mossy Meadow one. And we want him to be further back. So we're going to put him kind of right there. And then we're going to overlap it with this guy. And that's that Pear Pizzazz color. And we're just going to place it right about there. Perfect. Do you see the pickle now? Too funny. All right, this guy, we're still just using the liquid glue. You could totally pop this one if you want as well. But I like the idea of this one being all flat because there's so much texture already to it that we don't need to have that extra dimension. However, I do use it on the back of this one. Let me go ahead and add it to our card base, and then we'll finish embellishing it. So I'll just grab a couple dimensionals. At least 5. You probably could get away with 6 even if you want it to be a little bit more sturdy. Take off the backs. Phyllis says she sees a pickle too, so I'm not the only one. Especially when it's green like that. Okay, let's put that center about like that. And now we can embellish. So I have these awesome felt pieces here. And we're just going to pick out 2 of them. We're going to use this one here would be fine. And we'll put that on top of that guy. And let's use a smaller one for this one over here. And we're just going to use liquid glue. I tried a glue dot for these and it was kind of tricky. So I'm going to suggest liquid glue. And then just give it time to dry. That's why we already have everything else ready on this card. So it could just sit there and dry with the liquid glue. Cute. We do need to finish it off with a double bow ribbon. And I'm using that coral twine this time. You're going to grab about probably maybe 20 inches. Enough to wiggle with. Okay. And you're going to just loop it like this and then cut it off the spool and then make a bow. Later I will trim off that end, but you can leave it right now. This one I usually do a bunny ear bow. So make 2 of the bunny ears and thread it through and then downsize it. Okay. I feel like, there we go, it went upside down on me. So now we can cut off this end here. And we don't need that one to be nearly as long. And we can size it the size we want it to be. And you just want to play with it. And when you do, just hold the knot in the middle to help you keep it tight. Super cute. This one's a really big one. I think I'm going to keep it kind of big and crazy though. Glue dot for this guy. Let me grab mine. All right, let's see if I have any. There we go. I'll take that and just put it on the knot to the dot, pinch it with your fingers, and set it on your cactus right there. Love it. That one turned out really cute. Remember, we're going to let this one dry a little bit, so I'm going to be careful. That's how that card turned out. We're on card number 3. Let's get ready for card number 4. All right, let me clean up this mess a little bit because we're going to bring in some extra supplies. All right. So our last card, and my favorite, is this really cool looking sunset one. And the way that we have it makes it look like it's kind of like a picture frame. It's that illusion that it's a frame when it's really not. Let me go ahead and show you, and let me grab all of our pieces out. For this one, I'm using a thick basic white for my card base. And then I have this crumb cake piece that I've already cut out. In our dies, we have this fun little, I want to say a pokey, or like a, I guess, what is it? A cactus has needles? I don't even know. Yes, so pokey things on the corner here that we're going to use. This one, I didn't use dimensionals. Today, we'll use dimensionals to attach this one to it to make it look like it's more of a frame. And then I use our stitch rectangles for this one, and I cut it out our mango melody. And then I have our cactus cut out with our DSP, 2 of them, and then 1 more of that pickle cactus there in the mossy meadow. And also a little label that I created using the stitch rectangles, the smallest one. Okay, so we need to set all those aside real quick because I'm going to grab some supplies. All right. So this is my sponge brayer. This is actually retiring with the catalog, and I'm super sad. I never use it enough, but when I do, I love it. So let me show you how this works and why I think you should add it to your collection before it's gone, and how we're making our sunset by just using this paper and the Calypso Coral ink, which I kind of cheated. A lot of times you see people make sunsets. They start with the basic white and they work their way up with that. This time I'm super excited that I'm cheating it and only having to do 1 sponging or 1 brayering by having our color cardstock already. Okay, so you grab your brayer, and I'm just using a piece of cardboard that came with probably this kit, in fact. And I'm going to roll it on top of my ink just a couple times like that. And I'm going to take it over onto my stick rectangle and just go over it a couple times. And you want to go no more than half. Just kind of like that. And once you have used a little bit, you can go a little bit lower. I'm going to have just a little bit of a 2-tone right there. Okay, can I see that? And then we'll do it again. And I want to have it just a little bit darker on the top. So I'm going to go over this top again. And only the top, though, to get that darker look. And you can do that as many as times, or at least 2 for this cool look to it. Let me show you how that turned out. Look at that. Isn't that super pretty and really easy? And the amazing thing is, look at my hands. I didn't get them inky at all. Using that sponge brayer helps you not get messy, which is pretty awesome. So make sure if you don't have those to grab those before they're gone. All right, let's get all of our pieces back in, and let's stamp our cute little saying. It says life can get kind of prickly. It sure can. And let me make sure I have it. Here we go. And let's use our Mossy Meadow ink. Then after this part, it's just about all of the layers. So we'll ink this one up. When you ink this one up, try to go as far as you can on the right side of your stitch rectangle. We're going to hide that other end kind of underneath our layers. Perfect. Put our ink away. And remove our mat. All right. So for this one, let's grab our bone folder, get this laying flat for us. And we'll start just assembling by adding all of our layers. All right, so dimensionals for this one. I know I didn't for my original, but let's see how the difference it might look when we do this. And this is a big piece. You want to put on at least, oh my goodness, at least 9. Take off your backings. Thanks, Phyllis. Yes. Isn't that such a fun technique with the brayer, the sponge brayer? I love it. Okay. Go ahead and carefully add this on. This should be the exact same size, which makes it nice and tricky to add it on sometimes. So just go from one corner to the next to cover it. There we go. Love that. Then we're going to add dimensionals to the back of this one as well. I do kind of like that, how it has more of a shadow now in those corner pieces that we've cut out. So that's fun. And then we're going to just put this in the center. Just like that. There we go. And start with this cactus first. And put it in that far left corner. And we want to have it so you can still see just a little bit of our sky right there. But you can have it going out of the frame. Just like that. Then we do want to use dimensionals on these two. So I'm going to flip them over and add our dimensionals. But I want to be mindful. Okay, so don't put a dimensional on the bottom half. And then only use one for that one. Since we're going to try to sneak that, our scenery there. And this one, I'm going to show you something different. So this one I actually have it so I wrapped that twine, that linen thread behind it. We're going to pretend like we're going to do that. And I'll show you how. All right, put this one however you think it looks good and layered. Have it going just about there maybe. And we'll add this one cactus. And we need our fun saying. But before we get our saying on there, let's grab our linen thread. And we're going to make just a regular bow with this one. Because our label covers up so much of that front, I decided that it was kind of wasteful for me to do the wrapping of my linen thread there. So we're going to just make it look like there's a bow and that it's been wrapped around. And this bow does not have to be perfect or beautiful. We're going to hide a lot of it. In fact, we want it kind of floppy. And trim off there. And go ahead and just grab, let's see, I can't even probably use a glue dot. Let me put a glue dot there. I'll just put a glue dot here on the back. There we go. And then we'll add this bow behind it. We're just going to put it so it's attached to it like there. So you just want to be able to see some of those floppy ends. Awesome. All right, now we need a dimensional for this one, and it's a little bit thinner. So what we could do is use up some of these ends here by just taking our paper snips and trimming some of these ones off, or taking a regular size one and cutting it in half. And I want at least one, if not two, on here. Let's see if I can't put one over that dot right there. Okay. And we're going to just slide this behind our cactus. Just right about there. You want to make sure we can still see our life. And it's okay. See this one, I have it going really far out. So maybe we'll slide it underneath there. There we go. Super fun. All right, lastly, we just need to grab some more of those rhinestones. And this time I'm going to use this yellow color with the red color, and I'm going to coordinate it so that my yellow is with my yellow. So I'll put some right here. And then we'll add one more yellow up there. And then let's put a nice red one over here. Awesome. So here is our final card. using that sponge brayer to create that really awesome sunset look. Maybe go ahead and grab all the cards back in so you see them again. We have our birthday one there, our heart cactus here, and our simple easy DSP one. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have had a great time learning how to use the Flowering Cactus Product Medley. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on my Facebook page to watch all my future classes. And be sure to click over to my blog so you see all the measurements for today's cards. Happy stamping, everyone. Goodbye.